When you were a kid, a vacation seemed to last forever. A whole summer felt endless, almost infinite. Every week brought something different, and going back to school felt years away. Today, an entire year can disappear in a few weeks. December hits all at once, and January feels like it was just yesterday. The days last exactly as long as they did back then, 60 seconds a minute, 24 hours a day. The clock hasn't changed at all. So what's changing inside your mind? Think about your childhood. Each school year felt distinct from the last. Every grade, its own complete chapter, with its own classroom, its own friends, its own version of you. Now, adult life blends weeks and months with no clear edges. One Monday looks like the last. A month of work bleeds into the next. Even birthdays start repeating without leaving much of a mark to tell one from another. You look back, and entire stretches of time simply vanish, as if they never happened. Physical time isn't speeding up. A year lasts exactly as long at 8 as it does at 30, measured in days, hours, exact seconds. What's changing isn't the clock. What's changing is how your brain experiences that time, how it divides it, and how it chooses to store it. And that's where the first mystery begins. For a 5-year-old, a single year makes up an enormous share of their entire life so far. It's almost a fifth of everything they know, of everything that has ever existed for them. For a 40-year-old, that same year is just a tiny fraction, a 40th of their whole existence. Picture two photographs, the same size. One represents a child's full year. The other represents an adult's full year, but placed alongside 39 other nearly identical photographs. 39 almost identical photographs, stacked one on top of another, competing for space in your memory. Proportionally, that adult year weighs far less against the total. It's a simple way to understand why childhood feels so long and why adulthood seems to keep compressing. But this theory on its own doesn't explain everything. If it were pure math, each year should feel a little shorter than the last in a perfectly predictable way, like a smooth downward curve with no surprises. Reality is far messier than that. Some adult years feel endless, full of unexpected turns. And entire childhood summers barely register at all, almost completely erased. Something else beyond simple math is at play here. During childhood, almost everything happens for the first time. A new place, a new teacher, a word you just learned. Your first day of school, your first friend, the first time you rode a bike without help, the first time you tasted something new and didn't know how to describe it. Every emotion feels unprecedented, with nothing to compare it to. Your brain has nothing to measure it against, so it stores it carefully as a unique reference, tagged and set apart from everything before it. Each experience gets marked, kept separate from the rest, like a distinct photograph in a massive album. When you look back on a stretch of life full of moments like that, your memory finds dozens of different points to walk through, one after another. And a stretch of time with that many distinct points feels, in hindsight, longer. Not because it actually lasted longer on the calendar, but because there's more distance to travel when you recall it, more stops along the way. So why does adult life stop producing that same feeling? Adult life tends to repeat itself. The same commute to work, the same streets, the same traffic lights, the same room, the same schedule, the same tasks as always. Each day looks too much like the one before it, almost a copy. Your brain stops registering each day as a complete, separate event. That doesn't mean it erases those days as they happen. It lives through them just the same, one by one, with no alarm going off. But afterward, when it tries to reconstruct that stretch of time, it finds no distinct points between them. Every Tuesday looks alike. Every work week blends into one general blur. with no clear edges between them. An entire month of routine can collapse into a single hazy memory, barely shaped at all. And just like that, without you noticing, several months compress into something that feels like a single short week. Here's something that completely defies intuition. A boring afternoon, while you're living it, can feel endless. You're stuck in line or trapped in a long meeting. The clock seems frozen, every minute stretching out. But weeks later, that same afternoon barely exists in your memory. It left nothing worth remembering, not a single clear image. An exciting trip, on the other hand, can fly by while it's happening. The days feel short, packed with activity, one after another without pause. But when you remember it later, months on, that trip feels long, full of moments and small details. Living through time and remembering time are two different processes, almost opposites. What feels slow in the moment can feel brief afterward, almost insignificant. And what flies by while it's happening can feel enormous looking back, as if it had lasted twice as long as it actually did. Paying attention to the passage of time can make that time feel slower. Checking the clock constantly stretches out every minute, as if the second hand were getting tired. Being completely absorbed in something, on the other hand, makes the hours vanish without warning. You start a task and suddenly it's dark outside. Intense emotions also leave deeper marks on memory. A move to a new house, a first job, a breakup, relocating to another city. Also losses, grief, unexpected reunions, news that shifts your mood in an instant. Those moments create far more defined memories than any ordinary, unremarkable week. You could describe in detail the day you got bad news, but not remember at all what you had for lunch 10 days ago. It's not simply that age speeds up time. Age changes the conditions under which you pay attention to the world. It changes how often you experience something genuinely new instead of repeating the same thing. And that, more than the years themselves, is what transforms your experience of time. Here's the big contradiction that ties all of this together. New experiences can feel fast while they're happening. You're too busy living each moment to notice time passing. But afterward, that same stretch of time stretches out in your memory. It fills up with references, stories, concrete details you can list one by one. Routine works exactly the opposite way. It feels comfortable, even pleasant, while you're living it day to day with no surprises. But when you look back, it compresses entire months into almost nothing, into one gray block. What felt fast is remembered as long. What felt comfortable is remembered as short. We can't stop the passage of time. No one can, no matter how much they wish they could, or how much nostalgia they feel for summers long gone. But we can influence how that time will feel afterward when we look back on it. Introducing something new, paying real attention, creating meaningful change, all of that creates more reference points inside memory. This doesn't make the clock move any slower or promise to make your life longer, but it can make that stretch of time feel fuller, longer, more truly yours when you look back on it. Maybe the years aren't passing any faster than they should. Maybe your brain is simply finding fewer and fewer moments that set one day apart from the next. That's not the same as aging faster. It's living with less novelty than you used to have, with fewer first times. And that, deep down, is good news. It means time isn't simply slipping through your fingers on its own. It means you can still change how this year will feel when you look back on it a decade from now, just by shifting your routine a little today. What stage of your life do you remember as the longest? And why do you think that is? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely like to read your answer. If this video got you thinking about your own sense of time, like this video and subscribe for more everyday mysteries of the mind.